Alright guys, gonna do a review on the basic carbine course I took this past weekend with Vickers Tactical. Had a ton of guys asking me what I thought about the class, this, that, and the third, and had some questions. And I'll get all those answers put in the video as well. Starting out, basic carbine class. The course was supposed to start at 8:30. It ended up starting at around 8:45. Larry was actually late to the class. He said it was late because the time changed. I guess he slept in a little bit longer. But once he got going, we were going. Started out with a safety brief, like every other class should. Obviously, he talked about the Travis Haley ND gate and the tactical response nickel discharge that they had out there at the range in California. So needless to say, we weren't using any kind of weird Russian trigger finger through the trigger guard techniques. Or we weren't stepping on any of our rifles to prove that it's a tool. None of that nonsense. Didn't have any kind of safety issues or anything like that. Which of course, we started out with zeroing. As Larry prefers a 100-yard zero. His reasoning was that shooting 0 to 100 yard, you can shoot somebody in the face from 0 to 100 yards holding on the face. So that's kind of interesting. I never heard it put that way. But a lot of guys, I don't know if they didn't have their rifle zeroed or if they just decided to re-zero it because Larry recommends 100-yard zero. But me at my department, we run 50-yard zero on our rifles. And I've confirmed mine out to 600, so there's no way that I was re-zeroing my rifle for 100. Plus, if I had re-zeroed for 100, then I'm going to just have to re-zero again for 50 in about another week and a half, because that's when we do proficiency, and then we've got in-service and recert coming up this year as well. So really, it really not have been beneficial at all for me to run a 50-yard zero. At least not on my work gun. On the gun that I brought for backup, the War Sport build, I did run a 100-yard zero on it, but it was a backup gun, so I didn't shoot it really at all. I shot a little bit during the lunch break, but I didn't shoot it in the actual course itself. So, before we really got going, Larry did make it very clear that he did not want anyone to videotape him in any way, shape, or form. His reasoning behind it was that he said he uses real foul language. He didn't want he wanted to keep everything kind of PG-13 as far as stuff that got entered on onto the interwebs, which I certainly understand that. It's kind of a big thing for image-wise, right? But somehow I gave a guy my camera to take some pictures of me, and the instructions I gave him was to just click the button, and you can just keep pressing the button. Every time you press the button, it makes a picture. I mean, I got a new Canon camera, just press the button, it's gonna take the picture. Somehow he ended up videotaping the drill. I've got the video of it. Larry Vickers isn't up there talking, so I'm gonna just add some of that in to this video. After we got through zeroing, the first drill we shot was 75 and in. We're shooting a bunch of different positions, shooting standing, kneeling, prone, as well as sitting. It was scored on a B8 target that was plastered on a IPSC target. I dropped the majority of my rounds at the 75 and the 50 yards between kneeling and sitting. Sitting is a position that I do not usually use. I mean, I hardly ever use sitting. I really don't ever use sitting at all. So I mean, on a scale of 0 to 10, it'd be pretty much 0, or maybe 0.5. But I don't ever use sitting because in a defense situation, it's just not one of those positions I'm going to probably find myself in. But now I am going to start using sitting, doing a lot more sitting, a lot more kneeling. Seems like I definitely throw more shots kneeling than I do standing, which is kind of odd, but I threw more shots sitting than I did kneeling. So, I mean, again, that's kind of odd as well, considering you're supposed to be more stable sitting than you are kneeling, and you're supposed to be more stable kneeling than you are standing. But I do a lot of standing, because a lot of good fights happen standing up. But in any case, there's something that I am going to start doing a lot more of. He did go over the post-shoot procedure as far as what he thinks you should do after post-shoot. Did go over how he sees a lot of guys do, or how it's become popular for guys to search and assess and really not pick up any information because they're too busy trying to look cool, which I wholeheartedly agree with that. He went over holdovers whenever he got to shooting. His kind of had a different methodology on holdovers. His idea was aim center of mass no matter what. Pretty much just aim center of mass. So we're shooting at, shooting up close, shooting back far, aim center of mass because we're center of mass creatures. So our mind's going to automatically revert back to center of mass. And that's kind of something that we had, well, I had kind of a I don't want to say backlash, but something that I really didn't agree with, because, you know, at the end of the day, holdovers are very important. I've always trained on holdovers. There's a part we train on holdovers. And a guy out in, I want to say it was somewhere out west, he just shot a guy, a hostage situation with an AR-15 up close. It looked like within 10 yards for sure, but probably closer to 3 to 5. And hostage target, he shot him with an AR-15, and again, he was close. So I'm certain he probably was holding over to make a shot like that with a hostage, right? Because if you hold center mass, there's no, I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't really money him a quarterback, but shooting at 3 yards with a hostage target on a reduced size, I would think you're holding over and not just holding center of mass. So that's something that, you know, you can throw out there. If you're going to use it, use it. If you're not, then obviously don't. Obviously Larry's got a large breadth of knowledge. I mean, he's got you can tell he's been around a long time, because he's done a lot of talking when it comes to gear and stuff like that. And that's mainly what he done a lot of talking on in this course, was gear. He went over slings. Obviously he prefers the Blue Force gear Vickers sling, and he prefers aim point. One guy in the class did have an EOTech optic. He borrowed the rifle from one of the guys, I guess some admin guy out there at Alias, and that guy happened to be a big EOTech fan, and he gave the guy, or borrowed the guy, a rifle that had an EOTech optic on it. And Larry pretty much trash talked the EOTech, because the whole time, I guess he was the first one to, back in the day, I guess, according to him anyways, to throw out that EOTech optics for junk and they don't work and all this, that, and third. So that may be true, at least by his account. It's the only account I heard, so I guess it is true. So that's neither here nor there. Went over reloads, done some reload drills. There were 3 guys, including myself in the course, that had mag pull bad levers. And he asked me in specific when we were doing reload drills, why do I use the bad lever? And pretty much the reason I use the bad lever is primarily for my functions. But I do reloads with the bad lever as well. And he completely disagrees with the bad lever, because several reasons that he gave, as far as what he's seen in the courses that he's had. And I haven't had any of the issues that he was talking about. And the issues that he was talking about, to me, seem to be training issues, not mag pull bad lever issues. So what worked for me may not work for everybody else. What worked for everybody else may not work for me. So that's just one of them things. But I will say this, on all the reload drills, I was shooting consistently better than everybody else in the reloads. Can't really talk about the targets. I don't know how I didn't go around the line to see what everybody was shooting, but at least on the line, shooting and then reloading, I was the first one to get shots back off after the reload. So take that for what it's worth. As far as gear goes in the course, I didn't run into any gear related issues. I had bought a bunch of Colt surplus mags with the mag pull followers, and I had loaded them up to 30, so I had issues with the magazine and it not feeding because it was overloaded. Back and back down, didn't have any issues. And I did have some ammunition issues. I was shooting Federal XM193. I had a primer come out of the head after I shot it. So I shot around, primer come out, case is still in the chamber, primer's out, tries to reload another magazine, basically creating a double feed. So yank the mag out, and I'm running the bolt, expecting the bolt to grab onto the brass to pull it, but it can't because there's a little primer in there. So look at the gun, it's got primer in there. I realize there's a primer, it's a little bit different. Get the piece of primer out, run the bolt pulls the brass out, reload, finish the drill, right? So that's the only 2 issues that I really had as far as malfunctions, was basically because the magazines were loaded I loaded too many rounds in the magazine, which I did purposely load 30 rounds. You're supposed to only load 28, but some of the mags that I hear anyways that you can load up to 30 rounds. And so I tried them the first time I'd used them, but those aren't the ones. They run well running at around 27, 28 rounds versus running 30 rounds complete topped off. But that's one thing. Other thing that he went over in the class was, he went over grips, like pistol grips, grip size. He thinks that the A2 grips probably the right size for everybody, and a lot of these larger grips like the Magpul Myad were a little bit too large for people's hands, but you look at the BCM and it was pretty much perfect for everybody's hands. Again, that's kind of a personal preference issue. Not really something I think should be taught on anyways. But it is what it is. I've had guys ask me if, or I'll read the comment pretty much verbatim. I've got it right here on the phone. Because there's a lot of guys that ask me questions. I guess Larry gets kind of a bad representation, just based off students, what have you. But here's pretty much what the question was. Cool pick. Either way, how was the instruction? Heard he likes to toot his own horn a lot. Celebrity fever. Sometimes running off on a personal back padding tangent. I didn't really see this unless you want to count him saying that he was the first one to call out EOTech on EOTechs being garbage. Which brings me to another point. He did a good job of explaining the drills that we're going to run and explain the processes behind the drill, but he did not demo any of the drills we ran. So whenever we were shooting the drills, he'd give us a time that, you know, we should base our time off of, but he didn't actually shoot the drill in front of us for us to see what time he did on any of the drills. But he did do what we needed to do, show us the, you know, the steps to get to the drill and do all the drills, but he just didn't shoot the drills for us to see what time he did on the drill, which is kind of odd. I've never been to a class where an instructor didn't shoot the drill prior to. So take that for what it is. Another thing that I was kind of turned off about, the course was supposed to be from 8:30 to 5, which I think turns out to be like 8 hours or whatever. Started a little bit late. That wasn't really a big issue. Out of the 500 rounds, I ended up shooting 236, and I was shooting on the high side. So on round counts where you shoot, say, 4 to 8 rounds, I would be shooting 8 versus shooting 4, and I only shot 236 rounds. But that was kind of, you know, going along with some of the other students. You could tell, I could tell, so I'm sure Larry could tell even better than I. Now, some guys were kind of getting worn out with just the stuff that we were doing, so I'm sure that may play a big role in it. We ended up, by the time we cleaned up and everything, we were off of the range and driving home by 4 o'clock. So there's still a whole hour in which we could have been doing stuff. But again, going with the tempo of the class, guys might not have been, you know, as confident as doing some stuff. So we did end the class like an hour early. Which again, you know, is kind of two ways of looking at it. Either you look at it on one side where it's, okay, guys aren't so confident doing some stuff, could we spend a lot more time doing those things, or guys are getting worn out and they don't want to do it much, so go ahead and end the course. Which one it was, I don't know. I can't say. I wasn't calling the shots. I'm a student like everybody else in that situation, so that's not my call to make. I don't have an opinion on the matter because obviously I'm not the instructor. I don't know what was going through his mind as far as that course and why it was so short. So it is what it is, right? I did get what I needed out of the course. It's certainly a good course. I would take it again, or I would take his fundamental handgun course. If you're like me and you're looking to take, say you've taken some formal training before and you're a pretty decent shooter, and you're looking for a course to shoot that you're probably going to learn a lot, to shoot a whole lot better than you are now, or at least shoot much more better than you are now, then I would probably go ahead and take the level 1 course, or, you know, a level 2 course, or what have you, or a course with another instructor. What have you. I would just kind of look at what course I was taking. I wouldn't take a basic course expecting to learn a whole lot if you've got a strong fundamental that was given to you by other reputable instructors. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you want to train with Larry and you just want to take his cheapest course, that was another factor that I wanted to do. That's another factor. So, I mean, I ain't telling you where to spend your money, spend it where you want, but I've heard guys say that, you know, they've taken his helm defense course, which is his shoot house course, and then they've taken courses with local instructors and come out better with local instructors as far as what they liked for the instruction that they got. So again, not a real big thing. That's, you know, that goes from point to point, from student to student. So it's a preference kind of deal. But again, it is what it is. Hope y'all liked it. Feel free to rate, subscribe, comment, and share. And y'all be safe. Peace.